What's good with the YouTube? You already know. Real Talk with Flacco coming live and direct. You already know what we do on this platform. We dive into sensitive issues, delicate matters concerning prison, gangs, community, recidivism, as well as addiction. This is also Big Flocks with Convict's Perspective, man. You already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to smash, dash, and slide on through with that little bit of energy, people. Now, as we all know, yesterday, Eric Holder, the alleged killer of one Nipsey Hussle, was found guilty. Took the jury about 2 days to deliberate, man, and this has been an interesting case, man, to follow along the ways. Now, this case has been a big case, man, as far as, the attention it's getting as far as in the West Coast and local communities. The thing with this issue is they were both from the same neighborhood, and there was different allegations going on throughout the hood about there allegedly being paperwork. I guess Nipsey had a verbal confrontation with Dude, told him, go get your paperwork. And Dude came back and decided to be about that action and told Nipsey, you're through, and allegedly shot him. And in the process of that, I guess the last words from Nipsey was, "You got me." And weeks later, you seen everybody showing up to this memorial, taking pictures. People were marching. People were wearing like "Rest in Peace, Nipsey" and so forth, man, because, people like Nipsey, former gang members or even current gang members, however you want to label them, right, that are giving back to the community and in the community that they're from, that says a lot, man, because there's not enough people who actually do that. Some people get big-headed. They're a star now, and everybody else is kind of like not as much important, man. And I think that's why, there was so much attention on this case out there in LA. Nipsey really hadn't hit the mainstream as far as the attention and so forth. So he was a known artist, but at the same time, he hadn't reached his peak. Now, in the process of this trial happening, allegedly, Eric Holder was, punched in his eye one time and sliced with a razor blade, man. So a lot of people are going to feel a certain way about Eric Holder, man, because of, who Nipsey Hussle was as a man. I don't think it's about who he was as far as a gangster and whatnot. But when you bring forth a positive push and give back to your community, even the OGs that are out there in the mix are always going to respect that. They don't forget stuff like that. And he was basically a example of what someone from the hood that's starting to make it in the music industry or, as an actor or whatnot, is still giving back to the community, man. So it was a sad day when Nipsey left. He wasn't done with his legacy. He had so much things that he wanted to accomplish. And I think that's why, with Eric Holder, everybody's upset about it. You don't have to really care for Nipsey Hussle as far as his rap skills and so forth. You may not even like him as a rapper, but as far as a human being, you got to give that man respect. There needs to be more people that do similar things like what he was doing, or what he was trying to do. Too many people make it and then they fucking exit their neighborhood and so forth, or they forget about it. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to live in your neighborhood, post up on the block, you know what I mean? But the fact of how he balanced it out, still creating businesses and jobs and so forth, and going into talking to kids in schools and so forth, man, that's what this society needs. We don't have enough of that out there, positive role models and stuff. And it's always people with that jealousy, envy, or that conflict and whatnot that always fucking ruin shit, And that's the truth of this, that anybody who is from that lifestyle, whether they're still living that lifestyle or not, if you're still sitting around in those areas, there's always the chances of these type of situations happening. People are going to hate. Now, what's next for Eric Holder? Well, sentencing should be September 15th, and you already know he's already going to get a life sentence off top. He'll probably have to go to reception center. See, I don't know where they're going to be housing him, because he's a little bit more high, priority target, not just on the main lines, but even on the SNY side. There's going to be a lot of dudes on those SNY yards that, even though they're not active or whatever they may have did or whatnot, still have love and respect for Nipsey. So I don't know where they're going to have to house him. I'm thinking either Donovan or Mill Creek. But they got to be careful, because if they don't house him in the appropriate housing, there's always a chance that he's going to get got. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he'll last on a regular SNY yard. I think he needs to go to one of those special yards like Mill Creek or Donovan, where they have high-profile gang members or high-profile cases. Now, the unfortunate thing about this is that cases like this are just all too often, man. There's still no justice for Biggie Smalls and Tupac and so forth, and that just goes to show how dangerous the hip-hop lifestyle can be. You know what I mean? Look at little what's his name, Lil TYS, you know what I mean? Lil Ties. You know, people are dying at a young age before they even get to reach their peak as far as in the rap game. So it's almost like a dangerous, a dangerous type of work field to go into, man, because there's so many different components, different players in the game. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that you may not know about. And there's always going to be those that are out there going to hate on your ass, man, just because they want what you have, you know? And, it's happened, like I said, even to a lot of Bay Area rappers, Mac Dre, the Jacka, all these cases have occurred to where talent has been lost. And that just goes to show that we need to work more on our local communities, give back, be positive role models, be impactful, and don't kill those who are trying to push a positive message out there in those neighborhoods. Don't get jealous of the next man's success. And see, that's exactly what it is people always want what the next man has, but are not willing to go out there and do the work to get it. So they're real quick to pull the trigger or to take action against someone because they're just looking for a reason. Anybody that's been in the hood, man, been in the mix, and if you out there and you beasting, you out there in the dope game, you know what time it is. There's those out there that are just looking for a reason to make an example, looking for a reason to get a motherfucker. And they'll make that shit up sometimes just to justify it. Now, no one knows the true extent of every word that transpired between, Eric Holder and Nipsey Hussle. But apparently Holder felt a certain way about it enough to come back and try to whack his ass. See, I wish I would have seen what Nipsey could have turned into. And I'm not so much interested in what his rap career would have been, but I would have wanted to see how much he would be giving back to the community and what type of change that he brought forth, man. And I think that there needs to be more rap artists out there that are like Nipsey, that are giving back to their communities and so forth and trying to create change, as well as stuff that has occurred, within all these groups, man. I mean, violence, drugs, gangs lead to only a couple things, man. Life in prison, you know what I'm saying, or death. There's no other alternatives. You may be able to get by for like a couple years, 10, 20 years wiggling, right? And what I mean by wiggling, I mean going in and out. But eventually you're going to get that life sentence, or eventually you're going to get murdered out there in the streets. Anyway, there's not much more I have to add to this, man. It happened. We'll know on September 15th what the official sentence is going to be. And I hope for, Nipsey Hussle's family and friends that they got the justice that they felt that they deserved. Other than that, man, there's not much to say, man. It's unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen what Nipsey Hussle could have became. Like I said, not as a rapper, not as any of that, but as far as a human being giving back to his community. So you got to always respect the things that he was trying to do. And hopefully there's those that maybe pick up the pace and do the same.